All evacuations have been lifted for a fire burning near the Spokane International Airport. The Sunset Fire is 75% contained tonight. We have live crews on the scene with the very latest.
And tonight we're tracking a heat wave on the horizon for much of the inland Northwest. Michelle Boss will have all the details and weather.
Plus, the University of Idaho plans to have a lab in place capable of processing coronavirus tests in 24 hours before students return to campus. We'll check in on that progress tonight.
I just started walking back and grabbed pets, important stuff like birth certificates and pictures.
Breaking tonight, evacuations are canceled for the wildfire burning near the Spokane International Airport. Earlier today, around 25 people were forced to leave their homes. Crews are still on scene now, working to contain that fire. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here tonight. I'm Regina Ahn.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We have full team coverage tonight. Our Morgan Trow and Amanda Rowley have been on the scene all afternoon covering the fire. It's been changing all throughout the day, and we've been getting new information every hour. So let's start with three things you need to know. First, all evacuations, as we mentioned, are canceled as of tonight. Earlier, there were level 2 and level 3 evacuations in place. Second, we now know the cause of the fire was spontaneous combustion of a debris pile. And third, crews are still on scene working to fully contain that fire. Let's get straight to Amanda Rowley at this time, who's also covering the fire. She spoke with the man who says he's grateful to those fire crews tonight. Amanda?
But still, that's our property.
Yeah, good evening, Mark. I have him standing by here from social distance, but I did want to give you an idea of how close this fire came to this family's home. Here is the fire line, and just 20 feet in front of me is the first structure on the property. Pretty scary, but fire crews said that while it did have a few challenges, it actually did help a bit by keeping it away from this house. So we'll send it over to Kevin and Austin Farland. This is another property owner here. They're sharing with us their experience with the fire. Guys, thanks for chatting with us today. You have a message for a particular firefighter or the crews in general this evening.
Paul, Kim, thank you so much. I was working downstairs at about 11:15-ish, and the dogs are going nuts. I get a knock at the door while banging on the door. I come out, and Paul's like, "You got to get out of here." And he's an off-duty fire captain from Valley Engine 9, I think it is. So I want to give him props. Engine 6 around the area, the engines over in Fairchild, all the air crew, everyone, the neighbors, Scott, Tricia, Matt. But so he comes out, says, "You got to get out of here." So my wife wasn't home. My son is going to, swim. She's bringing him, and I loaded up all the dogs, and we have 5 animals, and loaded them all up, got them out of here. And then once we got everyone safe, my wife and my 2-year-old, then we started coming back and started evacuating other people's animals. I was jumping fences and gathering dogs, picking them up, putting them in the car, and it was a great neighborhood effort, a great area effort. It was fantastic. We were blessed. The fire went all the way around. This is crazy.
Yeah, how were you, to mention, really, this came just within feet of your home. I mean, did you think this would ever happen?
No, when I came out, I could see the smoke, and he's like, "You got to get out of here. It's coming this way." And I'm like, "Okay." When we left, we're probably about half a mile away at the neighbor's house, and watching all the air support that was going on, and I could see all the smoke and stuff, but I didn't know it was this close. That is so close. And they said it was just minutes away from engulfing the house if it wasn't for one of these helicopters that dropped all that water on there, and it was able to fight it back enough for the crew to come in and really make a damage to keep it at bay from the house. Thank God. Thank you all, everyone, man. We're so grateful.
Great message, of course. Is there anything you'd like to add, Asta?
No, I think it's awesome how, just like the firefighters are absolutely amazing. Like, we've been serving on them all day, so we're so grateful for them. Yeah. And just all the neighbors. I think the coolest thing is just, we've got to know a lot of the neighbors, and everybody literally came together, and we had neighbors coming to help us, then we'd go help the next house, and they'd go help the next house, and just making sure animals and people and everybody are safe. And so it was really cool. Everybody was safe, so
awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Well, the good news is you guys are okay, and the animals are okay, your neighbors are okay as well. Yep. As you can see behind them, guys, there are some crews that were out here kind of popping up on the other side of the hill, still mopping up some of the embers that are still firing up here. Like I said, good news here is everyone's okay, and it's mostly contained here. So reporting here out in the
West Plains
area. Thankfully, everyone's okay here. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Definitely a lot of gratitude for those hardworking fire crews out there. Well, we have seen an extensive effort from fire crews to contain this fire as quickly as possible. More than 100 firefighters were on scene. We do want to get straight now to our Morgan Trow. She's been at the fire since the start of it all. So Morgan, we know now how that fire started.
100 firefighters from 8 different agencies responded to a fire near Sunset Frontage Road. This season has been relatively calm in comparison to last year, but the weather today played a huge role in the growth of the fire.
The winds adds air and oxygen to the fire, makes the fire go faster and push in a certain direction.
Spokane Fire Chief Brian Schaefer says the wind fueled the fire, and fast.
That wind combined with the topography, the ladder fuel, and the heat and the low relative humidity, those are serious triggers for us in a firefighter's mind of this could be an explosive type of fire. And this.
He says he is not sure how it started, but it almost doubled in size within a short period of time. With an aggressive response, fire crews contained 75% of it, but the work will continue for days.
We've got dry lightning in the forecast in the next couple days coming in with this hot weather. It's going to increase that fire risk, and we need to all be ready.
Schaefer says that the team will monitor the fire for the next 72 hours. For now, he's glad they avoided destruction to nearby homes.
The courageous actions of the firefighters and the aircraft that were here, those two in tandem are really what saved homes and lives today.
Spokane Fire says the area is not well maintained, so it's not a surprise that with the wind, the low humidity, and the high heat, the fire was able to spread super far. From outside the fire, Morgan Trow, KREM 2 News.
And for more information on the Sunset Fire, just text the word wildfire to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you a link.
Turning now to weather, the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas will be under an excessive heat warning starting on Sunday. So some areas around the inland northwest will reach those triple-digit temperatures in the next coming days. Michelle Voss joining us now live. So can you let us know what we can expect?
Well, it's kind of crazy. So, of course, we saw our first 100-degree temperatures on that last day of July, and then the first couple of weeks of August have actually been a little bit cooler than average. We're just starting to ramp things up again. So pendulum is certainly swinging in the other direction. Let's take a look at the heat warnings, advisories, and watches that are currently in effect. We have all of them across the
All right, we are having an issue with Michelle's signal right there. We'll try to get it sorted out and go back to her forecast when we get that reestablished. In the meantime, we'll move on to our next story. The University of Idaho says of all students and staff members who have been tested for coronavirus so far, about 1% have tested positive. The school says it's completed around 2,300 tests so far. This, as university leaders said, they plan to complete about 24,000 tests, including every student returning to school. But as KREM 2's Taylor Bido explains tonight, the school's very own testing lab is not up and running yet.
Well, as of now, tests being done here at the University of Idaho on students and staff are being sent to the local hospital to then be processed through the labs that hospital is using. Now, that'll change once U of I gets its own lab up and running, but that just hasn't happened yet.
Had quite an intrusive swab up the nose and it was done.
University of Idaho English professor Ben James is describing a coronavirus test he had done here at U of I Student Rec Center on Monday. James is being tested like thousands of other students and staff members coming back to campus. But 4 days later, the professor says he hasn't received his test results back yet.
Well, it's very worrying. Obviously, it makes us wonder, well, it makes me think that the tests are going to be irrelevant because people could be doing anything between taking the test and when they get the results.
The University of Idaho has said it plans to test all students returning to campus. In-person learning is set to begin a week from Monday. To help process an estimated 24,000 tests, U of I has been setting up their own testing lab at nearby Gritman Medical Center. Once that happens, the school says tests will be turned around in a day, with people then getting their results in another day or two. But U of I confirms with KREM that their lab isn't up and running yet. It's still being certified.
Just waiting this amount of time for something that's supposed to take 24 hours is not filling me with confidence at all.
For now, U of I is sending student and staff tests to Gritman. In addition to its own testing, the hospital is using 6 labs to process the U of I tests, including some commercial labs across the country. The school says they've completed over 2,300 tests. Close to 1.5% of them have come back positive, but the school says that number includes some people who were known to be positive and are no longer infectious. Some, like James, meanwhile, worry if the school has bit off more than it could chew. He and his colleagues are preparing to go back into classrooms in just a matter of weeks.
Yeah, the real concern is for the health and safety of the community and for my colleagues and for the students obviously as well.
While U of I confirmed with KREM this week that its lab wasn't open just yet, university administration didn't immediately respond to additional questions on Friday seeking comment for this story. In Moscow, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
All right, happening today, several people gathered in downtown Spokane to protest full virtual learning. Protesters say they think it's a greater danger for their children to not go to in-person classes, and some parents also expressed that they don't know whether they could fully provide their kids with the education that they need. So about 20 people were there protesting in front of the Spokane Regional Health District. Our Casey Decker, who was there, said most people were wearing face masks.